So we're going to continue talking about koans today and also focus on Shikantaza in particular. Now, as I mentioned, in the Zen traditions, the Rinzai tradition is generally associated with koans. It's a part of that tradition that one would work on koans. Um, I would imagine there are some people that don't, but the majority of people would. And then in the other Zen school, the Soto school, there's a little bit of work on koans. It's sort of a small number of people are working koans, and everybody is practicing shikantaza. In the Rinzai, normally after one completes koan study, then one would work with the precepts, and then one would begin practicing shikantaza. So it's seen as a practice at the end of the path, or when one is deeply realized or more fully realized. And in the Soto, it's used from day one. One of the things that I've done with the Shikantaza is I Buddhism, as you all know, developed in India and Nepal, and at some point made the transition to China. The historians believe that the concepts of Buddhism, the suttas, the different theories, made their way to China before teachers arrived. So Buddhism originally was seen and explored as an academic topic. So scholars, professors, philosophers were reading these Buddhist texts. They were comparing, contrasting to Confucianism and Taoism, which were predominant in China at the time. And later, teachers came. One of the first teachers, at least in the Zen tradition, history was named Bodhidharma. And Bodhidharma is said to have brought the sudden realization, the awakening aspects of Zen from India, Nepal to China. And interestingly, the book I'm writing now is about the Buddha and practicing as the Buddha did. And so one of the things I'm highlighting is the Theravadan path, Theravadan Buddhist path of progressive realization and insight. So the samatha portion, the concentration meditation portion is all aimed at purifying the mind, collecting the energy, loosening various ways that we identify ourselves, the ways we support self-identity, and unplugging from those. And ideally, people experiencing jhana, where they would have an experience, a no self experience of a non-dual state. So there would be no me experiencing a non-dual state. So it's a temporary experience of what it's like to be awareness without a me. And then one normally then would do the vipassana practice, which is purification of view. And that would culminate in orienting to cessation. Cessation can be entered from the samatha, from the territory of the eighth jhana. There's a possibility of a portal opening to what I call the ninth jhana, which is the absolute realm, I call it, or the absolute. So it's experiencing the absolute directly, having a direct merger, let's say, with the absolute. So that can happen in the samatha portion, the concentration. It traditionally happens at the end of the vipassana. There are 8 stages of insight in vipassana practice, which you can find online, and there's several books out about it. They're not very well delineated or taught much. A lot of the teachers keep it fairly quiet for their own reasons. But anyway, the progression of Buddhism was really rooted in the yogic tradition of jhana practice, which was where the Buddha started everyone with breath awareness practice called Anapanasati. Sati means awareness, Anapana means breath, so breath awareness meditation. And one ideally would do this to the point of experiencing the 8 jhanas and all the ancillary practices that go with that, and the various other practices, the protective meditations, the Brahma Viharas, meaning the heart practices. Those are all in the samatha portion of the path. And when knowing that, I'm trained in that tradition, and in the Pak tradition, technically I'm a jhana master because I did mastery on all the levels of jhana to my teacher's satisfaction. But the main thing is I know that practice really well, and seeing that Bodhidharma was bringing that practice as part of his presentation, then I really understood the development of Shikantaza, that it was like the jhana practice, but removing as much content and communication as possible. And then I went through looking at the different stages of the concentration meditation opening to jhana, and identified 3 important stages, which I now incorporate into my teaching of Shikantaza, because I believe Shikantaza is a development of the jhana practice. There's a few teachers that agree with me, others have no opinion. I'm not sure if anyone doesn't agree, but I do know a couple of well-known Chinese teachers see the relationship.